Imagine standing before a locked door that has remained sealed for 2,000 years. Inside this chamber lies the exact sound frequency used by Jesus to command the elements of nature. You have been taught to read the Word, to study the text, and to analyze the history of faith. But what if the ink on the page was never meant to be the source of your transformation? What if the true power resides not in the visual symbols, but in the raw acoustic vibration of the air? The world is built on frequencies, and the ancient Aramaic tongue was designed as a bridge to the divine. Every time Jesus spoke, he was not just communicating ideas, he was releasing specific mathematical codes into the ether. These codes, known as the living word, have the power to rearrange the very atoms of your current reality. Most of the world is trapped in the static of a translated, diluted, and silenced version of the original message. Today, the silence ends as we rediscover the science of the sacred sounds that were meant to be your inheritance. You are about to learn how to bypass the intellect and speak directly to the fabric of existence itself. We are moving beyond theology and entering the realm of spiritual physics, where thought becomes form through sound. Prepare your spirit, for the activation of your inner authority begins the moment you align your breath with the ancient truth. The journey into the frequency of the Masters starts now, and your life will never sound the same again. The distinction between a static word and a living frequency is the difference between a map and the actual journey. When we look at the teachings of Jesus, we must realize that he spoke a language where every vowel was a portal. The Aramaic language is not merely a tool for social interaction, but a system of energetic alignment designed for the soul. In this ancient framework, the concept of milda represents the manifestation of divine intent through the power of the voice. This is the word that does not return void, because it carries the weight of the source within its very resonance. When you speak from the intellect, you are tossing pebbles into a vast ocean, creating only small ripples that fade quickly. However, when you speak through the frequency of Milta, you are moving the ocean itself with the force of a tidal wave. This is why the traditional reading of Scripture often feels empty or powerless to the modern seeker who is struggling with real life. You have been attempting to unlock a digital vault using a physical key that no longer fits the lock of the spirit. By returning to the original sounds used by Jesus, we begin to strip away the layers of dust that have accumulated over centuries. This is the science of sound, where the vibration of your vocal cords mirrors the creative pulse of the entire universe. It is not about the meaning of the words in a dictionary, but about the impact of the sound on your cellular structure. As you align your own breath with these sacred patterns, you start to vibrate at the same level as the miracles you seek. Your body begins to recognize the ancient signature of its creator, and the resistance of the physical world starts to dissolve. Understanding these frequencies is the first step, but mastering their vibration in your daily life is where the true miracle happens. I receive many messages asking for the correct pronunciation and sequence of these sounds, so I have prepared the sacred guides to help you bridge this gap. You can find the link pinned in the comments to begin your practical journey today. To understand how to activate these codes, we must first examine the foundational sound of peace, known as slama. This is not a passive wish for the absence of conflict, but a proactive restoration of original wholeness within the human heart. When Jesus greeted his followers with he was literally retuning their nervous systems to the frequency of divine order. Imagine your life as a musical instrument that has fallen out of tune due to the constant noise and pressure of the world. The frequency of Shlama acts as a tuning fork that brings every string of your being back into perfect harmony with the source. This is the essential prerequisite for any form of manifestation, because a fractured spirit cannot hold the weight of a miracle. You cannot build a temple of abundance on a foundation of internal chaos and vibrational static that rejects the light. By practicing the intentional release of you are clearing the energetic field of your life to receive new seeds of creation. This process requires you to breathe into the sound, allowing the vibration to penetrate the deep layers of your subconscious mind. As the ancient frequency of Jesus washes over your thoughts, the shadows of anxiety and lack begin to lose their grip on your reality. You are no longer reacting to the shadows on the wall, but standing in the light that casts them away forever. This is where the activation of the living word becomes a tangible experience that you can feel in your bones. You are stepping out of the timeline of struggle and into the timeless rhythm of the divine breath that sustains all things. The world will try to pull you back into its low-frequency cycles of fear and limitation, but the code remains within you. If this teaching is stirring a deep resonance in your heart, it is a sign that your soul is ready to return to its original blueprint. To support you in this transition, my guides explain the layers of meaning behind the first sacred words, offering you a path to clear the interference of the world. The link to access these tools is waiting for you in the pinned comment. Once the foundation of peace is established, we must turn our attention to the specific frequency of Abun, the Aramaic name for the Father. This sound is not a title for a distant deity, but a description of the birthing process of the entire cosmos from a single point. When you vibrate the sounds of Abun, you are tapping into the womb of creation where all possibilities exist simultaneously. Jesus taught his disciples to begin their prayers with this recognition of the universal source that breathes through all life. It is a frequency of total connection that reminds the soul it is never separate from the power that creates galaxies. Many people struggle with manifestation because they feel like they are begging a stranger for a favor from a place of lack. Using the frequency of Abun shifts your perspective from a beggar to an heir who is reclaiming a natural birthright. You are acknowledging that the same breath that moved through Jesus is currently moving through your own lungs at this very second. This realization is the key to unlocking the divine authority that allows you to speak to your mountains and watch them move. The sound itself carries a soft, expansive quality that opens the heart and expands the aura to encompass your highest desires. You are literally making room in your physical reality for the manifestation of the spiritual truths you have held in your mind. This is the science of the sacred breath, where every exhale is a release of the old and every inhale is a reception of the new. You are participating in the eternal conversation between the Creator and the creation that has never ceased since the beginning. The ancient codes of Aramaic provide the specific vocabulary for this conversation, allowing you to speak with precision and power. As you master this frequency, you will find that the universe begins to respond to your voice with a speed that defies logic. The next layer of the science of codes involves the activation of the heart center through the frequency of Rocco. This word is often translated as love, but in the original tongue of Jesus, it implies a fierce, protective, and womb-like compassion. It is the energetic glue that holds your manifestations together and gives them the substance of reality in the material world. Without the frequency of Rocco, your intentions are like hollow shells that lack the vital spark of life necessary to endure. When you infuse your words with this specific vibration, you are breathing the fire of the divine into the blueprints of your dreams. This is how Jesus performed his acts of healing, by seeing the brokenness and immediately applying the frequency of original wholeness through love. You must learn to look at your financial lack, your broken relationships, or your physical pain through the lens of Rachmu. Instead of fighting the darkness, you are simply introducing a higher light that naturally displaces the lower vibrations of suffering. This is not a mental exercise of positive thinking, but a total immersion into the feeling state of divine compassion. The sound of Rachmu resonates in the chest, vibrating the heart and the thymus gland to stimulate the flow of life force. You can feel the warmth spreading through your being as the ancient code unlocks the dormant power within, your own DNA. You are becoming a living conduit for the same grace that flowed through the streets of Galilee 2,000 years ago. This frequency is the ultimate protection against the negativity of the world, creating a shield of light that nothing can penetrate. As you walk in this vibration, you become a magnet for the people, opportunities, and resources that align with your new state. The science of manifestation is ultimately a science of alignment, and Rachmu is the final key to that perfect union. The final stage of this sacred activation is the realization of the EH, the frequency of I Am that confirms your divine identity. This is the code of absolute authority that Jesus used when he declared his oneness with the source of all life. When you speak the sound of EH, you are anchoring your manifestations into the present moment with the weight of eternity. Most people live in the frequency of I will be or I was, which keeps their desires forever out of reach in the future or the past. By using the frequency of Jesus, you are bringing the power of the heavens down into the soil of the now. This is the point where the living Word becomes flesh and dwells among us as a tangible reality in your daily experience. You are no longer waiting for a miracle because you have become the miracle through the alignment of your voice and spirit. The frequency of Ea is the ultimate seal of the work you have done through the codes of peace, source, and love. It is the final Amen that rings through the corridors of your life, announcing that the transition is complete and the victory is won. You must stand in this frequency with unshakable confidence, knowing that the laws of the universe are bound to respond to the truth. The world may scream its lies of limitation, but your voice carries the ancient authority of the original creation. You are a co-creator with the divine, and the language of Aramaic is the tool you have been given to shape your destiny. Never again will you feel like a victim of circumstance when you possess the keys to the kingdom within your own breath. The power that was once hidden is now revealed, and the light that was once dim is now a blazing sun. You are the living evidence of the science of the codes, and your life is the testimony of the power of Jesus. In conclusion, we have journeyed through the vibrational architecture of the ancient world to rediscover the tools of our own transformation. We have seen how the frequency of SHLAMA restores our peace, how ABWOON connects us to the source, and how Rachmu fuels our creation with love. These are not just words, but the very mechanisms of manifestation that Jesus utilized to bring heaven to earth. By aligning your voice with these sacred codes, you are stepping into a life of divine authority and unlimited potential. The path is open, the codes are active, and the power is yours to claim in this very moment of existence. Visit Divine Light Academy at the link below to access my complete guides and start your journey into the living language of the Masters. But before you go, I want to hear from you. What did you feel during this session? Comment the word restoration below if you felt a shift in your energy today. We read every response, and your testimony strengthens this entire community of light. We are just scratching the surface of this ancient power. Get ready, because in our next video, I will reveal even deeper Aramaic codes that unlock spiritual authority you have never imagined. Make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on so you don't miss this unfolding revelation. Right now, before you close this video, come to the comments and tell us, what did you feel? What shifted? We read every single response. And if this teaching found you today, subscribe to this channel. Every week we go deeper into the ancient frequency codes that were always meant to be yours.